Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm Philbert D, and we're in a slightly different office. This is Phil on Films. This week, ang Henerasyong Sumuko sa Love and Joker. Tony Labrusca, Jane Oneza, Jerome Ponce, Myrtle Sorosa, and Albi Casino are a group of friends graduating from college. They take a trip together and promise that in 1 year they're going to meet up again in the same spot. The film then proceeds to explore what happens to these characters over the course of the year, each of them struggling with issues related to modern life. The movie is basically made up of 4 loose sketches. One of them becomes a YouTube star. One of them meets a guy who makes him question his fear of commitment. 2 of them become a couple, but while one of them wants to make it official, the other is afraid of the drama that comes with labels. And then the other one, he encounters the stress of freelance life. Now, I am inclined to like a movie that explores the struggles of the younger generation, especially one that treats their angst as legitimate. But while that may be the intention of this movie, it just doesn't cut it. These stories feel half-baked at best. All of them struggle to find a resolution, the sketches ending just as the conflict is at its peak. The movie just kind of waves their problems away, coming to the rather trite conclusion that it's nice to have friends. This movie's insights into this particular generation are dubious at best. In that YouTube star, for example, one of the issues of the main character is that she isn't getting the kind of glamorous sponsorships that our rival is getting. So instead of seeing her reckon with the fact that she's commodified herself in service of this vague dream of creating content, or struggling with the idea of having changed herself in order to become successful, we see this character complaining that a soy sauce company wants to give her money. And then the story just kind of ends. All these stories just kind of peter out, and it doesn't ever really get interesting. 2 stars.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
The movie takes place in the early 80s. Joaquin Phoenix plays Arthur Fleck, a part-time clown and aspiring stand-up comedian. He has a medical condition that causes him to break out into uncontrollable laughter sometimes. He lives with his mother, who seems to have an unhealthy admiration for a rising mayoral candidate. Outside, the city is falling apart, and Arthur's darkest thoughts are coming to the surface. Now, there's going to be a lot of noise about this film over the next couple of weeks. A lot of the debate surrounding this film seems to be about how the people who didn't like it are mostly just being triggered snowflakes about the film's seeming endorsement of violent action. And there have in fact been critics who call this film dangerous, inferring somehow that it might inspire some dude to put on grease paint and commit a mass shooting. I don't think I can really speak to that. I don't believe, first of all, that movies cause people to become violent. And if somebody does go out and do that terrible thing, it would be way too simplistic to point to this one movie and say that it was the cause. It would also be committing the mistake that this movie makes, which takes a complex problem and just boils it down to a singular, trite explanation. I'm going to say this first. Thematically, I'm actually on the side of this movie. I think that this movie intends to be about the inherent violence of capitalism, how we have created systems that push people to the margins and then condemns them for being so marginal. It's set in the world of Batman, which creates this intriguing layer of problematization to the character. Now, in theory, that's a very sophisticated idea to tackle, especially in the context of a big-budget studio film. But this film goes about exploring that idea in very big, clumsy ways. This film announces its seriousness at every turn, right down to its evocation of the era through its title cards. This is a movie that screams out its themes, burdening its very slight plot with a suffocating inevitability. There are no surprises in this movie, and no real insight into the system it's supposedly criticizing. So that's the thing that really bothers me in the end. Now, there's a lot of obvious craft in here, and of course, Phoenix's performance is physically compelling. But all of that effort is put into creating this shiny surface of seriousness, of prestige. Inside, there's nothing but empty cynicism, the kind of societal analysis one would expect from a high schooler who read Nietzsche once. This film wants to be taken seriously, so here I am, taking it seriously. It lacks nuance. It lacks self-reflection. It lacks insight. It lacks a lot of the things that I think a good, serious movie has. For all of its visible splendor, there's just nothing underneath. 2.5 stars. Jeff Casalaw on YouTube asks, could you do a separate vid on why the PPP shouldn't be a thing anymore? Makes me curious. I'm not gonna do a separate vid. I'm gonna answer it here. It's gonna be super simplistic. The PPP exists because it's a compromise, because we can't apparently have good things in the MMFF. Rather than have great films in the MMFF, we had to shuttle them off into the PPP, which originally was also supposed to be a showcase of the best films that came from festivals, but then they stopped doing that because I don't know. Who cares? I don't know. And then originally, the first year it was during Ghost Month because the theater owners were like, nobody watches movies in Ghost Month anyway. We can give up our cinemas for local films because again, the PPP is a ghetto. It's a place where like, oh look, here, we're doing it. We're independent films. We care about them. We're gonna do a whole festival that focuses on independent Filipino film. But actually, they don't. This year, most of the films were distributed by Star Cinema. So okay, so it's another venue for Star Cinema to make money, and in fact there was only one film that actually made any money. So how are you helping the industry if only one film makes any money? Anyway, yeah, I'd rather that we just fix the MMFF, give the MMFF a chance to, give films a chance to get into the MMFF. That's like, not just the next Vic Soto script or whatever, and then maybe we'll have something. But yeah, we already have the MMFF. We don't need the PPP. The PPP is bad. Nobody makes any money, and it's a thing that shouldn't exist. Cool Webhead commented, pa-request po for your next video, sir. Top 10 or top 5 best Pinoy films. Miss ko na manood ng Tagalog movies. Wala naman akong pili. If I list out the top 5 films, it's gonna be a problem for you because you're not gonna be able to find them anyway. Although there are some good things on YouTube. I would suggest, I don't know, looking for Danny Zialcita's Lakwe or Eddie Romero's Aguila with Fernando Po. I believe both are on YouTube. You can probably even watch Manila sa Koko ng Liwanag on YouTube. Those are very good films. But this will be piracy. There are some good films on Netflix, good Filipino films on Netflix. I would suggest watching Vincent Cat and James is a good film from the MMFF that was good, that led to the PPP. Oh, you can watch Buy Bust. I like Buy Butch. There's Sigrid Bernardo's Kita Kita. There's Sigrid Bernardo's Mr. and Mrs. Cruz. Those are good films. There's Dan Villegas' Always Be My Maybe. Not to be confused with the American film Always Be My Maybe, but it's also pretty good if you can still stand Gerald Anderson at this point. You can watch Antoinette Hadaones' That Thing Called Adhana, which is a film I genuinely love. So yeah, there's a lot you can go through. Rick Sandu asks, why aren't you with Click the City anymore? End of contract? No, I left Click the City because I was offered a job at Rogue, and as much as I liked writing on Click the City, it was a really good offer from Rogue, and I really wanted to explore writing about other subjects other than film, like particularly food or politics and stuff. Now, of course, getting into publishing during the death of publishing might not have been such a great idea, but now I'm on YouTube, so it worked out. So thanks for joining us. If you're interested, this week it's the Pelicula, it's the Spanish Film Festival. So there's a lot of stuff that you can watch if you're interested in Spanish film or just film in general. Also, Q Cinema is starting soon. I don't know how I'm gonna cover that. We're gonna figure it out. Maybe it'll just all be voiceovers. I don't know. If you go to Q Cinema, you'll probably see me there because I might actually be moderating a panel. They haven't announced it. But yeah, there. Anyway, so like and subscribe, leave a comment, ask a question, do all the internet things, and until next time, goodbye internet. Comedy is good, Todd Phillips. Go, sorry. Yeah, let's just start over. Do all the internet things, and until next time, goodbye internet. And we should have thought of what to say first.